Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with Perp and Black versus Dog with Hat Gang, and it is early for the live GRLCS stream, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of treat today. We're gonna try to squeeze in this game, Dog with Hat Gang versus Perp and Black, in before we get to one of the more exciting ones where it's GSM. It's not necessarily exciting for who's exactly facing off, but it's GSM versus let's see, I have it written.
S team.
S team, and it's interesting because GSM is one win away from tying up a four-way tie into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, the GSM tie up for the potential four-way, currently three-way, is very interesting. But first, we do have the Perp and Black Dog with Hat Gang series to cast. It's a little bit earlier than normal, so it's going to be a little bit more of a chill stream today, and we've seen a couple of bands already. It looks like Killerings Ari and the Thresh from the sub for Perp and Black, U-Boy.
Yeah, still going in hard for these engaged supports, so they're looking to maybe capitalize that they don't have a lot of maybe not a lot of synergy in the bot lane, or at least they haven't seen any synergy, so they're looking to maybe put them into a little uncomfortable position, while on the blue side, Perp and Black is going ahead and banning away some of these really strong champions like Pantheon and Ari.
Yeah, Pantheon, Ari, and Gangplank. These are all things that Parry Difference and Killering play. Meanwhile, the Thresh and Nautilus, both of them, as you said, very strong lane supports, but I'm sure that U-Boy plays them a fair amount. And since Perp and Black is running on a sub-bot lane today, that'll probably be their goal. Like, try and punish the bot lane and make sure that the team difference is really the win condition here.
Yeah, and the first pick up is going to be Wukong, which is a very strong pick. He has seen some nerfs, but still very strong in just how much utility he provides with his double knockup on his ults, as well as how much damage he provides. And Karma and Kindred's going to be picked up on the side for the Dog with Hat Gang.
Yeah, Kindred is a really interesting pick here, mostly just because Kindred, no one ever sees that played anymore. Very situational jungler, and not necessarily a good dueling jungler or a late game carry, but we'll have to see if Mike Oxmall Bros. Yeah, okay, if Mike can figure this one out, but Maokai is locked in for Perp and Black.
Yeah, and so Maokai, very strong as well. He could technically go to jungle, but we'll most likely see him in the top lane. Just a very good pick in the top lane because he can utilize those bushes a lot more effectively against his laners for his saplings. And the Misfortune's going to be picked up for the bot lane of Perp and Black.
Yeah, so now with the ADC picked, Dog with Hat Gang is going to lock in their Varus, and that's pretty solid. So Dog with Hat Gang have their bot lane and their jungler. Perp and Black are currently rocking their top and jungle, as well as their ADC, so the Leona going to be banned. They don't want the engage on Perp and Black's side.
Yeah, they're looking to try to ban out all the options for an engage support, maybe looking to rather face a Enchantress or maybe a Pokey one, while on the side of Purple Black, they're going ahead and still banning out these solo laners, going ahead taking away the set from Parry Difference there.
Yeah, the set really does counter the Maokai. You want to make sure that Maokai can play that weak side top lane without getting punished too much. Maokai does scale very well into the late game just as an unkillable tank, but if Set or, say, Gangplank or Pantheon in the earlier bans can have the ability to solo kill there, this will get a lot harder for the Perp and Black team, so they are going to take away those strong top laners. Meanwhile, Braum banned by Dog with Hat Gang.
Yeah, still going ahead strong with a 4 support ban, making sure that they can maybe have a little bit of safer laning phase because of how well Varus scales as an on-hit build as opposed to a crit build that Misfortune does. and in order to just win out this late game strategy, so that they can play a little bit safer with a Karma support as well. Just an overall utility is there. But they're going to need to start looking for some engaged champions of their own for these solo laners, since they don't have any tanks and they have a lot of damage, but they don't have a way necessarily to get into these fights.
Yeah, Aatrox is going to be a very strong side top laner, especially against that Maokai. It is going to be a lot easier to bully Maokai, try and force him back, and force Wukong to come to that top side, which will allow Karma and Varus to kind of go with that poke lane that they're going to go with. It's interesting. Varus is one of those champions that can go for either poke or on hit in his build, and we'll have to see what TWTV Justify will go with after they load into game. But now Galio and the Shyvana hover from Perp and Black.
Now, Yumi's also being hovered. Galio is a flex pick here, so he could go into the support if they're still looking for an engaged support. But right now, with all of the champions that you boys picking, he's going to go ahead and pick up the Zyra. So I believe this is probably a Galio mid, and then Wukong jungle Maokai top.
Yeah, Galio mid, and the Zyra support is a very far cry from what we've seen in the bans from Dog with Hat Gang. You know, Thresh, Nautilus, Leona, Braum, what they all have in common, they are one big meatball of stats, and Zyra is a very distinct departure from that. Galio and Maokai, and to a lesser extent Wukong, are going to be the ones taking up the tank on that side for Perp and Black. So now it is basically half tank, half not tank for Perp and Black. Meanwhile, Dog with Hat Gang doesn't really have a main tank on their side.
Yeah, they figured, we have on-hit Varus, we have a Cassiopeia, we have Kindred, we have 3 DPS carries, as well as Karma that pokes out really well, and then Aatrox who can just dive into the team. So if we just kill them, they can't take our damage. They're just dead, They
yeah,
can't...
I mean, basically, if you kill Zyra and Misfortune and manage to lock down Wukong, that should be it for Dog with Hat Gang winning fights. Like, that should be the formula for that.
Yeah, the Cassiopeia is actually a pretty good pick into Galio, just because they're both are looking to scale. So Cassiopeia is scaling a little bit better since she doesn't need boots, and then the against a Wukong means that you can put down your miasmas to prevent him from using one of his multiple dashes that he has now.
Yeah, I think the Cassiopeia is a really good pick into Wukong, but on the converse side, I actually think Galio is a very good Cassiopeia counter, just because his first item is basically going to be an adaptive helm. So this Galio will do such a good job at dealing with Cassiopeia. The only question I have is, will Duxter be able to deal with Killering without pulling in the Kindred support, or even like parry difference roaming down from the top lane?
Yeah, so it will depend a lot on how well he can actually take advantage of being the tank mid laner against Cassiopeia, who is a AP champion. And then as for top lane, not too much is really going to happen, mainly because Maokai is looking just to scale up, while Aatrox can look for kills onto Maokai if he steps up too much. Generally, we'll see a lot of pushing done by Aatrox, which means that Kindred will have a much safer jungle players, just because they have that option to rotate faster down, which is what they need when they're facing a Wukong jungle.
Yeah, so meanwhile, the bot lane is the one thing that we really haven't talked about. Zyra Misfortune versus Karma Varus is an interesting one, because Zyra really isn't seen that much. Karma as well, but at least Karma slots into a little more of a traditional support feel in the current meta.
Yeah, we haven't seen Zyra that much. The last time I've seen Zyra was when Misfortune support was a thing to specifically counter Zyra support, because you can just use your double up against the plants, kills it, and then you get huge poke outs. But now we're seeing those two paired up in the bot lane instead, and it's going to be pretty interesting. Neither side has a lot of engage, other than but Zyra has the root in order to help out the jungler get in there, while Varus has his chains of corruptions in order to get a good it's also still a root. Yeah, it's still a root onto someone and get a good pick off there.
Yeah, I think Zyra Aquarian can play this very well. If he can start tossing plants down in front of Lord Reeves, he can mitigate a lot of the poke that comes out from Virus Karma. Mainly the Mantra Soul Flare, because that's really what does the most damage here in this lane. So if he can put down the plants in front of the Karma, that can kind of stop all of the poke damage, but otherwise, I feel like Varus Karma will have the priority in this lane because they will be able to just shove, be able to poke out the enemy, and be able to take control over this lane, short of Wukong coming into the top or into the bot lane. But we are going to go into game in just a second after this all loads in.
And I think I got kicked out. My
you
internet
got kicked out of the lobby?
acting.
Alright.
Yeah, my internet is acting up right now, so just give me a moment while. Because right now, Vid sounds like a robot.
Well, that's not a good thing, because you also sound like a robot to me. Alright, you doing okay?
Let's see.
Talk to me, Austin. Don't you give up on me now, you son of a bitch. Alright, well, in lieu of having Austin available, I will go ahead and lead this game in. It is Perp and Black versus Dog with Hat Gang here on this beautiful Thursday. And we've got Perp and Black on the blue side, Dog with Hat Gang on the red side. So, for the KSU team, Perp and Black, we have Kyler G in the top lane on Maokai, Mediocre Hats in the jungle on Wukong, Duckster in the mid lane on Galio, and Aquarian and U-Boy in the bot lane on Zyra and Misfortune. Meanwhile, on the red side, Dog with Hat Gang, Parry Difference in the top lane on Aatrox, Mike Oxmal Bros, hereby known as Mike, on Kindred in the jungle, Killering in the mid lane on Cassiopeia, and the bot lane TWTV, Justify, and Lord Reeves on Varus and Karma. It looks like there is going to be an invade for Dog with Hat Gang. They are going to find a slow off onto Aquarian, another slow, and a flash from the Zyra. Are you there?
I think, yeah. All right. I mean, you don't sound like a robot anymore, and the screen's looking pretty clear. I'm just not able to spectate the game, so I'll just be watching off of Discord. So you already did introduction?
I did, yes.
All right, a little bit of 5-stack here. They're still looking to see if they can get anything. Galio's in the mid lane, so he is pretty well off. He can still have vision on them, make sure that they are making their way out before the rest of his team can go ahead and return to the buff and try to get that early leash off.
A lot of good vision coming out from Dog with Hat Gang during this invade. You actually see 3 wards there in the red side jungle, and then Perp and Black did manage to get the return ward around that raptor camp on the top red side. So there will be a little bit of vision on both sides trying to figure out where the other jungler will be going.
Yeah, and looks like they're just going to go ahead and to each camps, which means that they'll end up around the top side fighting through that center trap, which is quite the issue. All right, I think Vid died. I believe everything fell over, and he has suffered from a heart attack from all this corona deal. He can't handle the pressure.
Yeah, you take this one because I just spilled my entire drink all over the side of my house.
Oh no. Well, hopefully the stream doesn't go down, but continuing on with the game, we don't really have too much going on. Bot lane is pushing in really well, just as they kind of want. Zyra doesn't want to use her abilities in lieu of taking some CS or pushing out the wave when they have such a safe farming. And Vid's still having some issues. I don't know if you guys actually can hear him. I don't know if he's muted himself on the stream, but I can still hear him through my Discord. And Killering going in, using the Natsu's Blast along with the Twin Serpents, getting a lot of damage off this Galio, which is kind of what he wants, as Kurthus stated in stated he can probably kill him early game, but right now Mike is in the jungle getting slowed down by Mediocre Hats. Mediocre Hats flash and gets the E off, killing and going to give up his life over to Perry Different. Pretty unfortunate encounter because he gave off first blood and neither side got the Scuttle Crab. But a kill for a kill is what ended up, and Perry Difference is just a little bit stronger into this tank lane. Definitely going to help him out a ton, while on the bot side, they are poking out a ton, making sure they utilize all of this poking damage that they have over the enemy. And Duxter's going in, getting taunts, getting the Winds of War, and these Justice... No, it's Smash. Justice Punch into the Smash, at least. And not really going to get too much out of it, trying to return some of this damage that he got earlier into this game. And Killering is pretty low on mana and does not have the tier currently. Definitely wants to try to look for take advantage of the lack of mana and harder to farm under tower because of lack of mana. I mean, this camera's going everywhere now, so yeah, generally we see in characters talking about how Galio will pick into Cassiopeia. A lot of good points made out on both sides, but yeah, I could see why you would think Galio would go as AP, but I'm personally thinking that maybe he'll pick up like a Rod of Ages into like those adaptive helms, or maybe just adaptive helm into maybe just a little bit extra AP, like a proto belt, just so he can provide a little AP damage for his team, so it's not entirely reliant onto Zyra. But I can see where another tank onto their side would definitely help out. And still might be given right here. Mike Rose is in already counter jungling, and now he's looking for another kill onto U-Boy, getting some damage off, but he can't exactly out DPS the Misfortune flashes over into the chasing Mike and picking up the kill in turn of flash. So that's going to be a kill for a kill in exchange for a flash. So pretty good, means that Mike has an avenue to gank down in this bot lane, but being a Kindred, that does not necessarily mean that you can do that necessarily easily. But right now, the bot lane seems to catch out. Mediocre Hats right here, getting the root down, and big damage coming out from Twitch.tv Justify, and yeah, and kill for Varus. It looks like he is actually going the pokey Varus, as Vid stated earlier, so this is going to be pretty interesting to see how well he'll do. Yeah, General VT, that invade early on was pretty greedy, or not early on, but from both sides was a little bit. And ooh, a lot of damage coming out from Justify, and Zyra is trying to follow up here, looking to maybe get a return kill, but the Karma is just going to shield up and get him out of there. While in the mid lane, Killering is trying to get a lot of damage out and try to pick up a kill, but Meteor Hats is there, dashes over and smacks down with the rod. And picks up a kill. So you've missed out on 7 kills.
Okay, so I'm gone for like 2 minutes and I missed out on 7 kills and possibly an 8th.
8th kill coming out right here, and ooh, Justify is doing so much damage, going that poke Varus that you were talking about earlier. And so, quick recap: junglers did meet up top side trying to fight the Scuttle Crab, ended up trading each other. Wukong picking up the first kill, and then Parry Difference picking up the kill off the Wukong, and then Mike goes into the jungle like he is right now, and Meteor Hats is going to be able to get out of here thanks to the dash on the clone, so he will be safe while Mike is in the jungle, his enemy jungle, looking for another camp to steal off, just to make it a little even, or a little in his favor once more. But he's going to go ahead and fight Mediocre Hats in the jungle, getting a third proc off, and then one more auto attack to finish up the kill, while Zyra is here rotating over, trying to see if he can get another return kill in order to swing it back for his team. While on the top side, Parry Difference gets all 3 parts of Dark and laid out with the Infernal Chains, picking up a second kill for himself. This is kill heavy. This is my first time doing play-by-play on stream. This is terrible for me.
And are you kidding me? Parry difference with a solo kill while Mike picks up mediocre hats in the jungle. And man, Dog with Hat Gang, they just, I mean, they were at 5-3, which seemed fairly even. And I come back, and the moment they do, they pick up 2 more kills there. So they are 3,000 gold ahead, and they have that Mountain Dragon in their pocket. Meanwhile, Parry Difference is just starting to run away with this lane. He's got 30 CS up, 2 solo kills, and maybe another in the bot lane.
Oh, they're not done yet. Oh. Full combo coming out with the root alongside of Chain's Corruption to pick up that kill.
You're absolutely kidding me. Justify, as you said, as I said, is going for that poke Varus. He has the Umbral Glaive, so that is kind of a win more item, you know, denying vision from the enemy team. It makes it a lot easier for your team to find those solo kills and find picks, especially when these big objectives like Rift Herald and Dragon are on the map. So I'm interested to see if Dog with Hat Gang will rotate up to the top side with their bot lane and try and take out that Rift Herald, or if they're just going to keep pushing here down in this lane and try and find yet another kill.
Oh, and the kill they do find. Bullet Time comes out to try to sway them from doing it, but you boy doesn't do enough damage, while Parry Difference is trying to get a really strong trade off onto Killering, or Kyler G, my bad, Killering's on his team. Yeah, just gonna do a little trade, but Parry Difference still obviously having the upper hand in this matchup.
Yeah, we talked about it during the draft, that Parry Difference was going to be able to beat up on Kyler G a little bit. Obviously, this is a little more than we expected, but Aatrox already beats Maokai in lane. Kyler G was already playing from behind, and the fact that his bot lane is just so far behind as well means that mediocre hats really can't come up to deal with that. So now Mike and Parry Difference are going to be picking up that Rift Herald, and they're probably going to be dropping it top as soon as they try and find an engage onto Kyler G.
Yeah, and a lot of counter juggling has actually been going on in this game. We've seen Mike very active in going into the enemy jungle, picking up camps, and Mediocre Hats has been trying to counteract that by going into the jungle instead, but we saw earlier that he just got caught out by the bot lane and just fed another kill onto the forest. So, very unfortunate there. Wow. They're still exerting very strong pressure. Their jungler is super strong, the top lane super strong. Mid lane, not super strong, but super scaling, so which will fill in for the gaps that Varus has with the change corruption coming out, but Mediocre Hats is here, gets the knock-up, and he's looking to try to keep going. He gets the second Cyclone out, and big damage is coming out, shut down onto Justify, and they're looking for another kill, but Parry Difference is here with ultimate, pops it, and go ahead and tries to get the kill onto you. Mediocre Hats, he does go ahead, and Quarian's over here getting the root down. Lord Reeves got it, and now Parry Difference is going ahead and hit the Darken Blades.
And that's a beautiful teleport there from the top laner of Dog with Hat Gang. Perp and Black didn't have their teleport available. Kyler G had used it earlier in order to get back to lane, so Parry Difference capitalized on that TP advantage. He did pick up 2 kills for himself, so now he's 4-0, as well as 40 CS ahead of his enemy top laner, and he has that solo turret take. The Killering now might go down to Duckster.
Yeah, we're seeing that Duckster actually did opt in to pick up the early, or aiming to pick up the early Protobelt as opposed to Adaptive Helm, so then he'd be unkillable against Killering. But this Protobelt Rush is actually gives him a little more kill advantage over Killering, and then is going to be useful all throughout the game since a lot of his abilities scale with AP alongside the shield. Mediocre Hats is here getting the smite down, and the heroic entrance comes down as well as the Lance fight, trying to pick up a kill, saving his teammates, but the tree captures them. But Killering is here now doing a little bit of damage. Lord Reeves looking for the root. Root is found and pick up the kill for Killering.
So now Killering has found his first kill here. He is going to be much stronger now with the 25 CS lead, and that's going to be Aquarian going down as well. Oh, man.
Yeah, this is not looking too great on the side of Perp and Black, just because of how strong this Varus is right now. And not only that, top lane is so far ahead. Jungler can walk into the enemy jungler and go ahead and try to pick up these camps. And maybe a kill alongside. Pillaring is the victim for it right now, but Mike doesn't have the Lance Respite, and he's going to go down without picking up the kill. And everyone else is over here. Mika Hat's bullet time comes out just at the right angles to hit Lord's Reeds, even though it's a little more directed towards bot side, and they're going to go ahead and pick up another kill.
Yeah, so a 2-for-1 shutdown there for PnB, so a little bit of a benefit pulled back for them. And since the jungler of DWHG Gang is down, they're not going to be able to take that dragon as well, so that will be delayed. DWHG Gang will not be able to push their lead as far as they have, but I wanted to talk about how Aquarian, now he's going to go down again, and parry difference chasing down.
Yeah, but the Cyclone is coming out onto Justify, and second Cyclone comes out to pick up the kill, and he's Meager Hat is still looking to pick up the kill onto Pillaring. Duster is joining him while they're trying to deal with a parry difference right over here. He's just too strong. He's 5-0, and he's dueling a 2v1 now. It's a 1v1, and now it's back to a 3v1 with parry difference, but he looks like he's actually going to come out on top of it with Mike on the way, making it a 2v3 while the 3 is super low.
Oh, parry difference, one more!
Oh, Dark Conflict. It just reaches, and I'm lagging, so hopefully nothing too much happening. Tower dive, and 1,000 gold shutdown goes down to someone I didn't see.
I think it went to Duckster. He picked up his first kill, and the first kill being basically a 3-kill, a 3-kill equivalent. So that actually did go in the favor of PnB when you look at the amount of gold that was shared among the members of this blue side. But all in all, still, DWHG Gang are just kind of deciding how they play this game. You know, they could have pulled off of that. They could have just taken the lead where they had it. But they instead decided they're going to have a little bit of fun with this game. I believe they are locked for third place, no matter what happens. So they are just kind of memeing it up against PnB.
Yeah, the only person that can contend for them in third place, closest one would be George and Grom FTR, and they're currently 3-6 in this series, so they won't be able to catch up with 3 wins when there's only one game for them left, I believe.
Yeah, when there's a 6-game differential and you only have 1 game left, that's when suddenly it's a little bit questionable. But I mean, DWHG Gang, they are having fun with this, but still, they're might go down actually. Justify.
Alright, my internet's still kind of bugging out there, so hopefully you're picking this up.
Yeah, Justify does have to flash away from the Cyclone, and he does live. So DWHG Gang, again, not really dying. They are just kind of overextending a bit, getting a little bit aggressive, paying for it, but not paying for it in gold. They're paying for it in pressure.
Yeah, parry difference is going on to Kyler G. He's still under the turret, but now he's going to walk away with Meteor Hats in the area. Looks like it's going to go back to a 2v2, but parry difference is just so strong. He can go ahead and just focus down the Wukong. He's like, I can't, and you know, tanky Maokai, squishy Wukong, squishy Wukong. But right now, looks like Mike might be caught right here. He is surrounded by 4 people. He's trying to make his way out of there, but he flashes over, and Duster picks up the kill onto him. So all of that lead is shrinking.
Yeah, parry difference is so strong that he basically 3v1'd and forced Mediocre Hats to flash out of there. Unfortunately, Mike is not as strong. He does have 5 kills, but Kindred just isn't nearly as strong an early game champion as Aatrox is, so Mike does end up dying. Duckster does flash to get the kill, which is good for him, but that does mean that he will not have any kind of like flash E knock-up engages for the next couple of minutes, which is going to be important as the Dragon, the Infernal Drake, and possibly even the Baron come up in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, they definitely need to try to get these engages because since DWHG Gang is all basically squishies, they kind of need to get on top of them in order to actually do the damage they need to, since U-Boy and Aquarian are just so behind right now, and they can't exactly do the DPS they need in order to C's and the APC that Cassiopeia is, so they kind of have to rely on themselves to do the damage and finish the job.
Yeah, at a current 1-10 for the bot lane of Perp and Black, they really are relying on these tankier members in the top mid and jungle for their team to be able to kind of pick up these team fights, peel for them well enough that they can finally do the damage. This really isn't a question of what their numbers are, it's a question of how long they can survive in these fights, putting damage out onto Justify, Lord Reeves, and Killering. Meanwhile, Dog with Hat Gang are just kind of playing the 1-3-1 game. Killering is farming in the top lane and starting the slow push toward that inner turret. Meanwhile, Justify, Reeves, and Mike are all in the mid lane, pulling pressure so that Parry Difference can just beat up on Kyler G yet again. And now they are clearing out some vision so that they can start to force this Baron pressure that's coming up in just a minute.
Yeah, Parry Difference does has his TP available, so he's bringing on that pressure downside, and everyone wants to get a piece of that Aatrox, who's just so strong in order to prevent him pushing these lanes, and that just means it creates a lot of Baron pressure once that's up.
Yeah, and the Baron pressure also means that these inner turrets are going to start being taken down. We just saw it with Killering getting that last hit on, and now Mike is going to force Duckster to walk back. That's not even the strong member of Dog with Hat Gang there. And Parry Difference, again, the same as we were talking about. He is just going to be able to keep putting pressure in, letting these minions crash. But Mediocre Hats might have something to say about this.
Yeah, he went in for his combo, not doing the whole Cyclone combo, but getting a good damage bit in order to poke down Reeves just a little bit. But poke down is exactly what's going to happen, not going to exactly pick up a kill since Pong isn't as bursty as he used to be.
Yeah, so now Aatrox is actually backing off, but Justify might be in trouble here.
Yeah, CP coming in from Parry Difference, being responded by Kyler G as well. Parry Difference walking away, trying to make sure he doesn't get caught in by the root. So looks like it's now a little bit A-ramming. Dragon is coming up, and recall in order to make sure he's healthy for any potential fight that comes up, which Parry Difference might have found right here. He is going to get taunted by the Galio. Miasma comes out, third part of the Darkened Blade, and now the tree roots coming out. Still don't know the name. I should really just learn that name if I'm going to see all these Maokais.
Yeah, I call about 3 different things grasping roots. I'm pretty sure it's Zyra E, but to me it's Zyra E, Nico E, Maokai Alt, and Ivern Q. So really, they're all just roots, and they all root, and the third Infernal Drake going to go over to Dog with Hat Gang. They're currently up 3-0 in Drakes. It is going to mean that they have immense Baron pressure here with all of these extra stats built in. They're 8,000 gold ahead, and now Parry Difference might try and find Mediocre Hats, or at least zone him away.
While Parry Difference he is looking for blood, Kyler G jumps on top of him, see if you can see hits the rest of the team. Mediocre Hats goes in, get a Fury, man. And here comes the hero entrance coming in, knock everyone up, and that's a huge wombo combo. Parry Difference still focusing the Aquarian right now, while the rest of his team is just going to get collapsed on and killed by these Taints. Killering is getting absolutely smacked down, sucked, and he's rooted, stuck in place. Parry Difference is here now in order to try to fight off these Taints away from his carry, and looks like he's doing just that, getting these 3 parts, again, the Infernal Chains off. He has the Darkened Blade, he lands it, and he's still looking to pick up the kill onto Kyler G, but the tree wave is coming out in order to try to root him and dissuade dive, but dive is still coming out. Dodging using the root, this tree does not go down! And Duckster is here trying to finish it up.
This is what happens when, like, a bruiser drain tank who has that Death's Dance tries to fight against a champion who's literally built to not take damage and to heal any damage that he takes back up. But Parry Difference was still the determiner in that fight. Dog with Hat Gang actually lost the fight if it weren't for Parry Difference. It was so hard. Justify and Killering both were having to deal with the divers of Perp and Black, and Parry Difference killed all of the carries on the backside of the fight, then came in to save Killering. So actually Dog of Hacking won that fight just barely, but they definitely could not have done that without their Aatrox, which just highlights how important he is to this team.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Bruiser meta with how strong this Aatrox is right now. He's 8-1, and he's by himself is exerting all this pressure mid lane to allow his team to push for this Baron.
Yeah, after Kyler G and Parry Difference burn their teleports, having to teleport into that mid lane to save Justify or kill him respectively, I was going to say that was actually a huge loss for Dog of Hacking because it meant that they couldn't split push with that Aatrox and they had to keep him in that 5-man stack. What I didn't think about was the fact that he could just zone 5 members all on his own and just keep Dog of Hacking safe while they took that Baron. They are going to move to about 9,000 gold in the lead, and they've got 2.5 minutes left on this Baron for all of these inner turrets to take.
Yeah, and we have... Oh, I have an invite by Killering.
What?
Man, you know, the Riot client is amazing. Nothing's wrong with it. You know, it's a small indie company and all that. But, you know, I'm just going to keep shoutcasting this game and not push that button that could send me to League client purgatory.
Please don't go to League client purgatory. I cannot stand to cast the rest of these games on my own for the rest of the night, but Dog of Hacking, they do have the Baron buff and they have turned their sights onto this mid lane tower. They're 3v4ing here with the Siege, but they really haven't decided to go for much poke here. Justify has a lot of ability to just go for these piercing arrows on top of Aquarian. He is going to get the root and the kill.
And Parry Difference is in here. He uses ultimate, picked up the last one member of the bot lane, but he's switching over to Meteor Hats, who's looking for a huge Cyclone. He gets the Cyclone, but he falls, while Killering is dealing with the unkillable tank that he is, but Parry Difference is here to make the difference this time and to make sure that he will be able to go down. Yes, 5-0.
Yeah, that's just a clean ace, a good use of the Baron buff, good use of the pick potential for Varus. Aquarian just got a little bit out of position, and that was more than enough for Justify to find the kill onto that. Parry Difference just so strong, was able to jump onto U-Boy, take him down without any trouble. Currently 2-14 is the bot lane of Perp and Black. They didn't really have that great of a game this time, and Dog of Hacking are just going to take this first game in massive fashion, only losing a couple of members across the entire game.
But, Meteor Hats pick up just one more kill onto Justify. Well played by Dog of Hacking. They're really having an overall lead is a very nice thing to do. As you said, they did an excellent job of playing this early game. Like whenever we talk about what separates a good team versus a bad team, it's all about the early game. Whether they and that early game, they really showed off with Justify and Reeves in the bot lane, rotating over for his jungler whenever Meteor Hats was trying to counter jungle in response of Mike, and then Mike actively counter jungling and getting that early kill onto Parry Difference means that he had so much free reign all over this map.
Yeah, so Dog of Hacking are going to pick up game 1. We're going to go for a quick break. In a couple minutes, we'll be back with Game 2. We'll see if Dog of Hacking can finish this out and finish their Diamond Cap season at 7-3. Otherwise, Perp and Black may be bringing this to Game 3, so don't go anywhere because we'll be back in a few minutes.
Woo.
And you shall wear it when you face the fight. This harness will guide us through dangerous night. It humbles the foe with its grace. The thorn mail will help us breathe and survive. Our deadly fate we embrace.
Alright, we are back, and Dog with Hat Gang have successfully taken Game 1 off of Perp and Black.
Yeah, Dog Hat Gang doing an excellent showing about how well their team could play this early game, as well as continuing the lead, giving away a couple kills here and there, but still coming out on top with just how strong they were. And these first bans coming out, first bans from each side is the same, but Cassiopeia being banned out this time away from Killering.
Yeah, Killering had a fairly good showing. He didn't have that early game power that Justify, Parry Difference, and Mike all did, but he still was very hard to get through toward the later stages of the game as he began to scale up with the rest of his team. I certainly think that Killering was one of the factors that really just locked the door there for Perp and Black's win. But I'm interested that they didn't ban, say, the Varus, which was much stronger during the entire game. But they will get rid of the Kindred.
Yeah, the Kindred was a pretty strong threat, and Dog of Hat Gang still continuing with the same thing. They're going to go ahead and ban away the supports, the strong engaged supports, and it looks like Kyler G is actually hovering over the Aatrox since they did not ban it. Seeing how strong Parry Difference was with the Aatrox, they're like, you know what? Maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do that.
Yeah, I mean, playing a strong side top laner, it's like obviously you have to be able to play the strong side. Now, granted, against Gangplank, that's not necessarily that's not a winning matchup necessarily for an Aatrox, but you're not like a weak side top laner. You haven't just kind of seeded the lane by playing an Ornn or a Maokai or a Scion or something like that.
Yeah, I would argue that Gangplank would be a pretty good pick, but right now they're going to go ahead and go with the Xayah and Rakan, lock in early, make sure that the enemy team doesn't pick that one up or take that away from them if they so choose. And really strong combo. The Xayah Rakan, built-in synergies and strong champions on their own as well.
Yeah, I mean, Xayah Rakan are... It's one of the strongest bot lanes that you can possibly pick, both from an engage potential, a kill lane potential, and also still a disengage potential, just given the fact that Xayah and Rakan each have a lot of mobility in their kit, and as long as one of them can get out, the other one can really just take that and run with it. But Vayne is going to be picked up for U-Boy in response, and we'll have to see what the last pick for Perp and Black in this first rotation is going to be.
Yeah, the Vayne's interesting pick. Not exactly the biggest range, but it has the same range as Xayah. But I believe Vayne doesn't do exactly that well against Rakan at the very least. So it's pretty interesting pick. They're going to round off this first round for the Perp and Black with a Vi on their side, while Killering is hovering over the Gangplank that we saw earlier.
Yeah, if they pick this up, as I said earlier, Aatrox won't necessarily have a strong lane into it, and even less so with a Pantheon, who does have the potential for a kill lane. I believe yesterday we saw this in the 100 Thieves TSM game, where Broken Blade took Pantheon against Set and just beat the hell up on him. Pantheon is one of the strongest early game champions in the right hands, and Parry Difference has shown himself to be one of the strongest Diamond Cap top laners here, so he might just be giving it to Kyler G all game.
He might be indeed, but since Perp and Black did not go ahead and pick up their support, they're going to the Dog of Hat Gang is going to continue with the trend and just ban out these 8 engage aggressive supports. The classic aggressive engage support, Lulu.
Yeah, I was going to say, as you were finishing that, I was like, oh boy, now he's going to have to address the Lulu ban. Who was the last ban from Dog of Hat Gang last time? It was another engage support, wasn't it? It was Braum.
Yes, Braum.
Yeah, so...
Which is sort of engaged.
Like, I get not banning the Braum. There's nothing really that Dog of Hat Gang, nothing that they have that currently gets countered by Braum, and if they pick up this Camille, this will probably be a Pantheon jungle Camille top. Camille jungle has fallen out of favor, but still, yeah. This will do very well into the Aatrox.
Yeah, ever since the Tiamat changes for the jungle, it made it a lot more expensive, so then it's a lot harder to get to. I believe that was a change. I just know they made a change to team at jungle, where suddenly anyone that would build a team in the jungle is no longer in the jungle.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Maokai top, Aatrox mid.
Makai jungle 5 mid.
Okay, so last time there was Clash, our team accidentally trolled and locked Vi top lane Sejuani jungle instead of Vi jungle and a Sejuani, in other places. This could be a Maokai support. This could be a Ziggs mid, potentially.
Yeah, Kirby Stomp or KB Stomp? I don't know.
It should be Curb Stomp, but,
Well, I mean, I see an eye. I'm going to say Curb Stomp, KB Stomp in the chat. So saying that, pointing out, yeah, it could be a Maokai support with the Ziggs in the mid lane, Vi in the jungle, Aatrox in the top. So still an engaged champion technically, in order to get that out. So with good, lockdown CC. So if he so chooses to go there, but it looks like Kyler G is picking up. It does currently have the Maokai right now, but that could change. But
I mean, Kyler G played the Maokai last game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him take it again. Maybe this time it is a Vayne Ziggs bot lane, with the Ziggs taking a little more of a support role, but still, U-Boy is going to have a lot of turret pushing power. They're going to have that Vayne for the later game with the percent max health true damage. There isn't really a tank, though, to shred down on the side with Dog of Hat Gang.
Yeah, picking up this early Vayne really just is something pretty abusable because of the everyone on the side of Dog of Hat Gang has point and click CC. You have Camille where her headstack ultimatum, you just click that, boom, she's CC'd, she's locked down, she can't move. Pantheon, I forgot what it's called too.
Shield bash, shield jump thing.
The one where he just donkey punches the top of the heads and jumps on them. And then Annie, point and click stun or AoE stun if she's already invisible. And then Zion or Khan, just really strong regardless with a good lane pressure. So this is going to be a tough time for this Vayne as is.
Yeah, I really don't have a very good prognosis for the Vayne going into the later game. I suppose the only saving grace here for the bot lane of Perp and Black is that if they just focus on destroying the Vayne, maybe that gives Ziggs a little more agency, but still, Ziggs really doesn't have that much survivability, especially against a team that has so many lockdowns that you can just deal with all of the carries at the same time. Kyler G on the Maokai didn't do super well last game. Of course, he was against an Aatrox, so maybe it'll go a little bit better with Camille, who is slightly weaker than Aatrox in the early game, but Parry Difference has proven himself to be such a strong top laner that I don't really think it matters either way.
Yeah, it's having such a weak side top laner, but they have a strong side jungler once again. Maybe Vi would be a stronger pick just because so they don't have to necessarily deal with a Kindred that's already banned invading so often. But Pantheon can still invade and duel out Vi pretty well just because of how much burst damage he really has. And so it's really, I don't know. Perp and Black has a pretty odd roster to pick up. They're still going with the Maokai, again, a weak side top laner with a strong side jungler, but it's once again picked, countered by a Camille and Pantheon, both strong side. So.
Yeah, I think General Vici in the Twitch chat really nails it down in words that are a little stronger than we would use, but I really hate the Vayne pick. Sire Rakan destroys it in lane, and last game already showed that Dog with Hacking were much better at laning. I agree with his take. Dog of Hacking's bot lane really did just outlane Perp and Black's, for lack of a better word, auto-filled bot lane. These are substitutes, and we really can't, we can't judge them as players that much for just being substitutes in a competitive match. But at the same time, they lost, and they lost really hard. So I kind of hope that they would pick a much stronger early lane, something that could at least hold their own against something as strong as a Zyra Khan. Unfortunately, they didn't. They're going with this kind of cheesy bot lane instead, and we're gonna have to see how that goes. you know, if it turns against Perp and Black, this could very easily be a Dog with Hat Gang win in a 25-minute game.
No, I figured it out. So they picked the Vayne because everyone has instincts of, oh, we have to kill the Vayne. But that means that the Ziggs can just free farm. He's actually the ADC, and it's a Vayne support.
So the Vayne is the sacrificial lamb for this team. Meanwhile, Ziggs is going to help scale up their AP damage and let Aatrox just take over the game?
Yes, of course. It's the 10 death Yasuo strat without the Yasuo.
And also, where the Vayne dies 10 times and suddenly Ziggs is strong.
Yeah, I mean, really, you just need attack speed on her and then she'll be alright, you know? So, let's just hope however this game does go out, it goes out pretty smoothly and we're not going to see like a 25-minute stomp. This is, at the end of the day, for a for fun tournament with a prize at the end if your team does win out. So, you know, it's not all about winning, but right now we're going to see a little bit of a 5-stack before we go ahead and do these introductions. I have a frozen screen right now, but hopefully nothing too interesting is happening.
Yeah, there is an invade, and it's actually a 5-stack, and holy crap! Dog with Hat Gang gets absolutely melted. The flash in by Duckster, but he will go down. The first blood for parry difference. I hope you unfroze, because God, I would hate to miss this.
Oh, okay, I'm here, sorta, kinda. I mean, first blood going down for Dog with Hat Gang, Carrion going down too, moved by Justify, and Justify is still looking to pick up an Ignite goes down, and the kill's picked up by Killer Ring, and this turned out for the benefit of Dog with Hat Gang, even though you said they looked like they were about to get destroyed in that 5-stack.
I mean, I honestly thought the Dog with Hat Gang were going to lose that in absolute spades. I mean, they had 5 men sitting there waiting and expecting the invade, and instead, Lord Reeves, great knock-up. They had parry difference, picking up a lot of kills, and Dog with Hat Gang were not afraid to use their summoner spells to secure these early leads. You had Ignites left and right. You had flashes out to make sure that Dog with Hat Gang was taking these kills without losing their own lives. So each of the lanes is actually going to pick up a kill here, which will put them ahead early.
Yeah, and that's not exactly what you see, especially with a Zyracon bot lane. Both of them taking Hail Blades for the funds of it, I suppose, because just getting that extra damage out in this early game to really abuse against Aquarian and you boys, just kind of cheesy bot lane.
Yeah, the kind of cheesy bot lane will not fare very well against not only a super strong bot lane just at the first part, but also the fact that they have taken one of the strongest early game all-inning, or not even all-inning, just chunking you down runes. So double Hail of Blades will probably mean the Dog with Hat Gang will take another easy lane this game.
Yeah, and this, especially with everyone having a kill at the early start of the game, is definitely going to start out kind of a disaster. But, quick question, I keep freezing up, but what time are you at?
2:51.
Oh boy, I'm 3 seconds behind.
Ah, well.
Trying to not get too far behind, but it keeps freezing up on me. I might have to just look off Discord again. My internet is doing terrible.
Well, let me know if that's the problem, because you're the play-by-play caster this game. We kind of have to go off of you as far as team fights go.
Yeah, yeah, can you go ahead and try to share your screen?
Yes, sir.
My internet's being dumb.
Oklahoma internet, Omega lol.
Am I right? But, alright, so now I can actually see the game. My eyes are no longer frozen, and Killer Ring still exerting a lot of early and pressure with using all these stuns. Dark Harvest coming out. Mike is in for the engage, and Killer Ring going ahead and pick up the kill with the Incinerate.
And that is just the power of Pantheon, you know, the Flash and Shield Bash. You really can't get away from that. It's a point-and-click CC. You can't flash away from it. You can't dodge, especially when you're Aatrox. So, all in all, Killer Ring going to pick up his second kill of the game. Mike at 0-0 and 4, and parry difference may look for his second kill this game, trying to take down Kyler G.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job, really utilizing the Conqueror he has in here, which is more focused for his laning phase as opposed to Aftershock that Kyler G has, which is more focused for team fights later on, but means that he's going to have yet again another rough laning phase.
And that might be the solo kill right there.
And Kyler G maybe get the escape right there with camera cuts away, but it looks like he'll be able to live on a sliver of health thanks to all that extra healing Doran's shield gives you, as well as maybe that Aftershock too. Maybe I'm just talking bad about the rune, even though it just saved his life.
It's funny, you know, usually when a camera cuts away, that's when you're looking at, oh my god, Kyler G died off screen, what are we doing? But no, this time Kyler G actually lived. So, still 4-0 for Dog with Hat Gang. They did just pick up that kill with the Mike gank. And they're only 2k ahead, but it is only 5 minutes. Now, parry difference not trading very well onto Kyler G in the top lane.
Yeah, Kyler G did back with his items now, so he's a little more stronger than he was previously. Instead of just having Doran's shield, he has a refillable pot, so he can sustain for some of these trades, as well as getting some armor so he can live a little longer against all this damage. Doesn't really help with the second part of the Q, but since it does true damage, but it's fine. Killering just gonna sidestep and go ahead and hit Dutster with that stun, and really abuse against this melee versus range matchup.
Yeah, so this is very chaotic compared to the last game, but also at the same time, it feels a little bit cleaner because three of these 4 kills that we've seen this game were in that invade, and since then it's really just been a bit of a slow push. 20 CS Killering has over Duckster. As well, there's about a 10 CS lead that Justify has over Aquarian, but this is doing a lot better for Perp and Black considering how strong Dog of Hat Gang were early, and now a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, Mugre Hats is going ahead and getting in. Infernal Chains lands onto Killering. Killering's trying to get his passive up, but now we have Mike in there, and he got stun off and finishes up Mugre Hats. I'm saying and a lot here, but you know, got the speech habit. End of the day, first kill picked up for Mike right there.
Hey, when a lot of different things are happening, you've got a lot of ands going on, so another kill possibly on you, boy.
Oh, they're getting really low right there, but not going to be able to pick up the kill. Getting the flash out of U-Boy, though.
And Mike is just really in the right place at the right time. He was right there around the Raptors. He was able to rotate down, and listening to your mid laner so early was what allowed Dog of Hat Gang to get in there. But now U-Boy in trouble.
Oh boy, U-Boy is in trouble, but the screen's freezing up a little bit on me. U-Boy does go down. Aquarian is very low, but he has to use his cleanse and flash in order to get out of there, luckily for him. So it looks like they are currently even out for summer spells. Parry difference in top side, but and looking for a kill with Mike using the ultimate, the Comet Starfall, in order to get down there. But he might not be able to pick up the kill onto Killering. He's using his E in order to block all of this turret damage, but he might go down the tower, and that's going to be a first kill for Perp and Black.
Man, that was such a sloppy dive in the top lane. Kyler G, they should have just let him go. You know, they used the jump forward with parry difference. They used the Hextech ultimatum, forced out those roots, and Mike had used his Grand Starfall as well. But sometimes you just have to walk away taking a flash and an ultimate from the top laner, allow parry difference to just build that lead on his own. Instead, Mike jumped in there. He took turret aggro. He took like 5 turret shots. 3 of them were blocked by the Aegis of Legion, but he wasn't able to block that 4th. He ended up going down. After they picked up the kill on Kyler G, Mike did get his second kill, but at a cost of letting Kyler G back into this lane in the 1v1.
Yeah, and but it will really depend on how well Kyler G can really utilize that one kill. He has equaling out for the mid lane, but right now it is a dragon fight. Everyone's around the area, but no one really wants to take it, especially because Mike's not there and he does not have his ultimate to rotate there faster. But Kelvin's looking to get a little trade off, but Mugre Hats goes in, uses the assault and battery, and the kill goes down for Duxer.
And that's a big shutdown there for Duckster. He is going to do a lot better here. And now Lord Reeves and TWTV Justify, both in the mid lane, trying to find something, but they won't find a return. But Duckster, though, he might go down.
Ooh, yep, and the Featherstorm does go ahead and pick it up for them, while we cut top lane since there's nothing else to see. Bot lane kills already given, and I suppose that is it. While the bot side is going to pick up some nice turret playing for them, which is good since they have the Ziggs and Ziggs as well as the Vayne, so that maybe they're looking to get some good tower damage in before they go ahead and back off because the dragon has been taken.
Yeah, pair of turret plates taken for Perp and Black, and they are going to be able to disengage from this engage by Lord Reeves. So they actually kind of win out on that. I mean, they don't lose anything more, but at the same time, they give away a Cloud Drake that they really couldn't have taken anyways.
Yeah, and this Cloud Drake is very impactful because you have the Headstick Ultimatum, you have the Grand Starfall, that's the name, as well as the Featherstorm for Xayah in order for her to get a little more escape. Some of these important ultimates up faster, which is definitely what they want.
Yeah, I mean, the Xayah Featherstorm ultimate is probably the single most important cooldown on the side of Dog of Hat Gang, because Xayah can just put out so much damage, but between Vi and Maokai and even Vayne diving on top, she is going to be one of the most wanted on Dog of Hat Gang's side. So toward the late game, as long as Justify can have that extra 10% cooldown on the ultimate, this will be a lot easier, 10% easier for Dog of Hat Gang to take these fights against Perp and Black toward the late game. But now the Rift Herald finally going down for Dog of Hat Gang. No one's going to be able to... Oh my god!
Kobe! And he's going to go ahead and pick up the Rift Herald. Not going to actually pick it up because there's so many members there, but Killring's right now looking to kill onto Aquarian, and he will find it. Aquarian's just trying to scale up here. He's not really regarding what his team's doing right now because he's Vayne. He's looking just to scale up and be impactful once the later parts of the game hit.
I mean, I know you were memeing about the 10 death power spike Vayne, but at the same time, there is a phenomenon that I've witnessed with good Vayne players, but there's a fight in the mid lane.
Yeah, fight in the mid lane, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and pick up the Justify. I couldn't really say anything other than the World Ender came out, and Lord Reeves tried to knock him up using the, what is it called? That entrance thingy. I don't know. But trying to use that to knock him up and get him off of Justify, but it was just too late. But more kills coming out, Infernal Chains coming through, and Hats charges up, goes in, and kill going down onto Meeker Hats while Duster is trying to run away from his life right there. More kills onto Dog with Hat Gang.
Yeah, just a surprising amount of damage coming out from Duckster and Mediocre Hats. They managed to lock down Justify. They pick up that double kill. Unfortunately, Mediocre Hats goes down on the re-engage from Mike, and that's a very good pickup there by Dog of Hat Gang. Of course, they lose too, so Perp and Black does win out in that short-term trade. But the fact that Dog of Hat Gang was able to pick that up, again, it shows Mike was in the right place at the right time, and I think that's a very important... an important thing to happen by such an early game jungler as a Pantheon, whereas Vi, she can at least Vi is more of a mid-game sort of fighter. Pantheon being there where you need him all the time in the early game shows the difference in the junglers. I don't think there's been a time where you're like, where was Mike this time? We really needed him.
Yeah, it's always been so far where it's like, oh, yeah, and here's Mike coming in with the Grand Starfall. He's walking in and securing his team another kill or just protecting his teammates from falling. So it looks like parry difference is going to go ahead, go onto Tyler G, trying to get some good trades out, but he's going to take 2 tower shots on his way and just basically loses out on that trade against him.
I'm glad you understood what I was saying, because I felt like a monkey trying to articulate that. Like, literally, I felt like I was a chimpanzee trying to, like, you know, Coco the gorilla mime it into action.
You're like using hand motions, but we don't have any cameras.
Literally, I was like trying to curve it around, but didn't engage.
Oh yeah, Mike uses the Grand Starfall, gets in there. We have another kill for Justified, but Meteor Heads is in there trying to protect his ADC, but ADC is already down. Looks like nothing else coming through, but Killing is rotating downwards along with Duckster, so maybe they're looking for a pick off of Killering there, but they're going to go ahead and disengage.
And yet another, Mike was there in the right place at the right time. He was in Starfall range, mediocre hats, and it was not able to get there, and now another dive.
That's another dive, picking up a kill onto you, boy, but Justify goes down, giving the kill away to the Aatrox, which could be bad news. But in the top lane, Parry Difference is fighting at 2 HP, and unfortunately, that's not enough to survive Maokai's damage.
Yeah, the punch from Maokai, unfortunately for Parry Difference, is actually physical damage. Parry Difference does pick up the turret, but now Killering in trouble.
Battery coming out, and stun coming out, but look who's here. Mike is here once more, picking up the Infernal Chains, but he's getting so low, and Killering just doesn't have his stun ready for a re-engage, so he's just gonna lose his life there. But saves Killering on the bright side.
Yeah, Mike was there at the right place. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite the right time. There was a lot of gold in the pockets of Dog with Hat Gang. While they are still only 4,000 gold up, this is still an important 4,000 gold because a lot of it is centered on that ADC, which is something that Perp and Black does not have to their name. Currently, their bot lane, the two real carries that will try and take this game in the late game, are 0-3 and 0-2 respectively.
Yeah, which is not necessarily what you want to see, but we have seen Aquarian just go ahead and farm up the lane. He is pushing without abandon. He's just going ahead, pushing out these lanes, while like Lord Reeves is looking for another engage. He gets the charm off while Killering gets a stun. U-Boy goes ahead and ults on top of himself to encourage disengage, but he is trapped in the middle of all three of them. Meteor Head's trying to save him, but unfortunately, the kill will go down.
Yeah, so a kill picked up on the support of Perp and Black. Dog with Hat Gang does actually not manage to turn onto Aquarian as well, although he was super low. But this does secure the Infernal Drake for them, second Drake of the game, and this is a fairly easy one. I mean, Dog with Hat Gang really aren't making that many map mistakes, they're just making little teamfight mistakes that are keeping them from really just blowing this game out of proportion.
Yeah, I mean, Perfect Black has played some of these matchups pretty well. For example, Tyler G just, now that he's facing against Camille, he is playing it a lot safer. And even though he lost his tower for it, he does have 2 kills to show for it, one of them just being a misplay. But Meteor Heads goes down before I finishes my thought, and it looks like U-Boy's gonna follow up while Kyler G gets stuck in a Headstack Ultimatum. The tree wave is coming out, and he is stuck in the ultimatum. Tries to get out through Lord Reeves, but it's not an escape path, it's a sentence to death.
Yeah, Parry Difference, he says you can either have the whole tomato or you can have nothing. That's why it's called an ultimato. So that is 3 members picked up for Dog of Hat Gang, and they are going to be able to pick up the second Rift Herald. And this one is almost certainly going to be going onto an inner turret. The only outer turret that's left is in the bot lane, and that would not be a very economical use of the Herald. So let's see where Mike ends up taking this.
Oh, obviously he's gonna use his Grand Starfall, goes into the base, drop the Rift Herald there. They will never expect it if everyone's already in lane.
Seriously? That's almost bad as my ultimato joke.
You gotta backdoor them with the Rift Herald. But they're just gonna go ahead, recall, get the resets. They have a lot of gold in their pockets, and right now they're still they're sitting pretty in this game with about a 6k gold lead against Perp in Black, but Perp in Black can still make it out. They have that late game carry of Vayne once she gets her items, working towards a those ninja tabbies in order to take less damage from basically everyone.
Yeah, I think the one unfortunate part here for Perp and Black is that, yeah, you've got your late game carry of Vayne, but when you're 0-3 and you're down 60 CS, she isn't just a late game carry, she's a ridiculously late game carry, a later game carry, if you will. And parry difference might not want it to get to later game, because he might take down Duckster.
Yeah, using the head to take Ultimato and takes the kill onto Duckster right there. Having used his full combo, unfortunately, so that's a cooldown that could be used for a pick, but regardless, a pick is a pick onto Duckster.
Yeah, I mean, a solo kill gives you that kind of map pressure, and if they manage to take down Kyler G, that's extra map pressure. And they'll be able to force a 3v5, but for now, parry difference is going to be able to just push in the top lane, probably take down this inner turret without any kind of response, because, again, it's a 4v5 for another 5 more seconds.
Yeah, Zig's ultimate comes out to try to clear out the minions to get parry difference off that tower, but it looks like he doesn't do enough yet, since he has components for a Lich Bane, not exactly an AP heavy item, when you don't have anything else to support it. While the bot lane is going ahead, ignoring Kyler G, going ahead and take down the tower, while parry difference dives right in with the hook shot.
Oh.
And Killer getting the flash, Tibbers nuke him down, while his team is still there, getting hit by the assault and battery, but in infernal chains, but they're still going in there. I'm seeing but a lot, but there goes the kill.
I mean, that was back and forth the entire time. Killering had pretty much the perfect engage, but he didn't kill everyone there. And even then, I said, but there are a lot of qualifiers in that team fight. Killering flashed in, but he let his team get jumped on by Duckster. But Duckster wasn't necessarily fed enough to take down parry difference and Mike. But still, Duckster went down at the didn't go down, but Mediocre Hats did go down. So that was just kind of like a tiny little. It was a marginal fight where both teams played really well, but both teams didn't necessarily have the damage built in on their gold leads to take down everything they needed to.
Although, Duster does have more kills now, so he's going to be just that much more powerful in order to win out these team fights for them, so they can get to this late game carry that Vayne is, or how much pushing power that Ziggs provides.
Yeah, so let's see what happens, because there are 30 seconds left on this Mountain Drake. Dog of Hacking, still in the commanding lead. They found a pick. They got the support down, who built a Lich Bane first, which is something that I'm questioning a lot a bit, because Lich Bane scales way better once you have that second or third item.
Yeah, right now parry difference going on to Kyler G. I do agree with you there, but Mediocre Hats is in the area, dodging away from the charge by using the headstick ultimatum, and going to go try to re-engage back in with the hook shot, but Mediocre Hats doing just enough damage, while his team is just going to shove in the mid lane. They already summoned the Rift Herald. They're going to go in onto Duster, who cannot get enough healing with his Darkened Blade in order to survive 4 people at a time.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is a 2-for-1 Dog of Hack Gang. Make sure to capitalize on that 4v3 that they have. Parry difference does go down, but Dog of Hack Gang does make sure to take down the mid and the ADC of Perp and Black, which is so much more valuable than just taking down the single top laner, who still has teleport when he comes back up in a couple of seconds. However, Mediocre Hats, he needs a miracle if he wants to steal this dragon away. If he wants to keep it from getting to Soul Point, Dog of Hacking, though, not going to let that happen.
Yeah, he is equal level with Mike right now, so he could have tried to go for the 50-50 smite, but way safer just to let him have this Drake when his team's not there to try to follow up with the engage, since it would surely spell his doom if he tries to jump in there, especially with Khan trying to zone him out.
Yeah, not only would it surely spell his doom, but it would almost definitely spell Dog with Hackang's Baron as well, because then they could just take it from the Mountain Drake and then take that extra kill that they got, fight that 5v4, head to the Baron, pick up their second Baron, pick up their first Baron of the game, and then just try and end it. But Mike has found U-Boy.
Yep, U-Boy is pretty deep into this jungle. He's probably looking to maybe get some wards in just to find where everyone else is. Not going to say that he's maybe tilted because he's all the way over there while the wave is all the way under his tower. But with this pick, it looks like Dog Pat Gang is going to go ahead and start up the Baron. Mike has his Grand Starfall if something drastic is sure to happen. But nothing is going to happen like that, and they're just going to go ahead and pick up this Baron.
Yeah, frankly, I don't blame you, boy, for kind of doing that. You know, you said you said you didn't want to say that he was tilted, but at this point, Perp Black has only picked up one win this entire season. You boy isn't even an official part of Perp Black. He is subbing for them today. And since they're already eliminated, it is really hard to not get discouraged, especially when now Mediocre Hats is down. It's a 4v5, maybe 3v5, and the Baron buff is on Dog of Hat Gang.
Almost made it out alive thanks to Blame King, but unfortunately not going to be able to steal any movement speed away to get out of there. Baron is going to help him push out these towers. It's going to be 4-man pushing the bot side while Killing has just respawned, but the engage coming out. Tree Wave coming through. Parry difference is still there. Grand Starfall comes in. He gets a stun out onto Duckster. Everyone's so low. This is just feeding grounds for Duckster right now. It's getting his resets off and looking to get another reset off of Mike, but he won't be able to find it while Killing flashes in, gets the tippers huge right there, and turns around the team fight where it looked like it was a loss. Thanks to Duckster, but ooh,
Holy
kill
crap.
for Killering.
Killering just walked in there and stat checked the enemy. That's not something that Annie does. He's just so far ahead that literally he walked in there and two-shot 3 people, and this will be Dog of Hat Gang taking the win over Perp Black. This is something that we expected, but damn, Dog of Hat Gang looked good this game.
Our Hat Gang definitely did look good. Just really just showing their prowess and just how well they can do. Overall, they've done well, in the early game, even though I'm not really going to talk about the bot lane too much just because it is auto-filled bot lane, or at least subs bot lane, which maybe played together some, but not exactly too sure. But regardless, every other lane played so very well. Pantheon really, like I said, if I had to give or like we said, he was everywhere. If I had to give an MVP, it would definitely go to Mike with how much presence he had all around the map, with not just his Grand Starfall, just being in the area and walking over in order to be there, not needing to use his Grand Starfall all the time in order to meet up his team where they needed him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Mike was just, in the early game, this game, everywhere that they needed him, he just seemed to be there. To a lesser extent, last game as well. But Dog with Hat Gang just showed a lot of team coordination. Of course, we can't make too many judgments because Perp Black was running off of a sub-bot lane. But even in the top half of the map, Dog with Hat Gang really just, brought their A-game today, even though they weren't necessarily playing against someone to determine a playoff spot. Now, it is just about half an hour until we do determine a playoff spot. GSM Platinum is going against S-Team for not determination of GSM. They are locked at 4th place no matter what happens. However, whether they win or lose, it will determine who gets the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the Platinum Lunari Conference. So, the two of us are going to take about a half-hour break, and we will be back then at 7 p.m. Central Time for the GSM S-Team Series. So, take a quick break, have some dinner, and then hopefully you're hungry, or you're not hungry anymore, and you are hungry for some League of Legends, because we'll be back then. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. We'll be back in half an hour. Go somewhere, and then come back. See ya.
Bye-bye.